You're right. That's
it's
so
recording
weird.
right now. I didn't realize we were recording. Oh my gosh. I love that we both have two. That's so just
Isn't
cute.
that fun?
Hold each other.
Sure.
Okay.
I like it then it'll be different.
Yeah.
I wrote these.
I wrote these. I'm so excited to read these.
This is so sexy. I love
I
it.
know, right?
Yes. And I don't know if you ever saw this, but I like did a video or something where I was like admiring this when I first got it. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a study in there.
I feel like I saw that.
I was like obsessing over it. Okay, sorry. Hi guys, my name is Bethany Atazadeh and I'm with Jessi Elliott today. I'm fangirling.
I'm fangirling. Oh my gosh.
And I'm so excited that she's in my office. We're hanging out. We've had this amazing retreat weekend, Wander Writers retreat. And so we just wanted to chat, really informal, casual, about all the sequel
things.
fun. Yeah, all the things really.
Sequels.
But yeah, I think writing a sequel is crazy hard. So I wanted to hear Jessi's opinion on it and let you guys hear it with me.
I didn't know going into writing Twisted Fate what it was going to be, like standalone trilogy, saga, duology. I had no idea. So when I finished Twisted Fate, I was like, well, obviously the story's not done.
Yeah, there's a cliffhanger.
That's it.
I don't know if that's like allowed to say, but there's a cliffhanger.
There's a cliffhanger,
Like
yeah,
a big
for
one.
sure. So then I started like sort of outlining Twisted Gift, and I was like, I knew pretty early on that there was not going to be enough for a third book from like those characters, so I knew that was going to end it. But it was still, I had no idea what was going to happen. At the end of Twisted Fate, I didn't know what was going to happen in Twisted Gift
Oh my
at all.
gosh, really?
So I was like,
What?
yeah, and it is a continuation of Twisted Fate. It picks up a month after Twisted Fate ends.
I'm glad I haven't read it yet, so I'm
Yeah,
glad to know
yeah,
that.
and it dives right in, which was like super important for me to do. But then I found myself wanting to kick myself a lot writing the sequel because I was like, oh, I should have set that up in the first book, or like,
oh my gosh, yes.
right? There's so many things could have worked better in the second book had they been set up in the first book.
Yeah.
And you can't go back and change it.
Once it's out there.
It is what it is. But
Did you have anything written before you published?
no.
Or did you have it like it was fully published and then you're like, now I'm going to work on book 2?
Well,
Like even an outline or anything? Kind of.
I outlined most of Twisted Gift before Twisted Fate published, but it was already done and ready to go out. So it wasn't something that I could really change. Because like it was all like edited and formatted, and like I had copies of it, so I was like,
yeah, you can't go in and mess with it then. I
Right.
totally know that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of times where I was like, I could have done things differently that would have changed the story, and I don't know if necessarily it would have made it better, but it would have made it different.
Gotcha.
And I don't know what could have happened, but I do know what does happen, and I'm happy with it. And I hope readers will be too, but I mean, there's nothing I can do now because they're both done, and soon they'll both be out there. So.
I like that you feel that way because I'm the same way. I'm like, it's done. I'm not moving backwards. I don't feel like rehashing. I'm not going to be one of those writers because I know it's really tempting for most writers, including me, to just keep reworking, keep rewriting, keep editing, which is
You'll
good
never
to a point.
Well, you'll never publish books if you just keep doing that.
Yes,
though.
if you do that to your first one, like, yes, the debut novel isn't going to be your best work because you're always growing. You're always going to get better. But at some point, you just have to put it out there.
I'm curious, have you gone back and read either of your books?
Only bits and pieces. And it's funny because I'll have like a few moments where I'm like, oh, that wasn't bad. I'm surprised that worked out. And then there's other moments where I'm like, oh, no. Oh, that's horrible.
I am terrified. Like, people have asked me, like, have you read Twisted Fate since it came out? I'm like, nope, and I'm not going to.
Well, yours, like, just recently came out. Like, I don't know, it was February.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It was not a long time. And I'm glad, like, I didn't want to be one of those authors who, like, publishes a book and then a year or, like, a year and a half later the next one comes out, especially because it's a cliffhanger. I'm like, from a reader standpoint, I would have been like, what the hell? And especially, like, I know traditionally published authors, well, they don't decide when their books come out, but, like, publishers will...
They try to put them together-ish.
Yeah, but even, like, sometimes you're going to wait a year. If you read, like, a brand new book, the sequel's not coming out anytime soon.
A year, usually,
For us, we don't really have the benefit of that. It's like we need to keep putting books out, like, at least once a year.
Yeah, the more the better, honestly. Like, it's really...
Yeah. For me,
building
my
a
goal is
foundation.
2 a year.
Nice. I love that.
And I'm kind of terrified, but, you know.
I'm so impressed because obviously you're doing it, like,
So
February, October.
Yeah.
Or no, September.
Yeah.
I said that wrong. February, that's even
Mhm.
sooner.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm, like, scared now that I've started that I now have to keep publishing books. Like, I can't take a break or I'm going to lose traction and I'm going to, like, lose readers because, like, people aren't going to want to wait. People are very impatient, and so am I, so, like, I get it.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I feel like I've read some cool people, this is a tangent, but Chris Box talks about that, where he's like, every so often he'll go back and he'll do like a bundle of a series and kind of like relaunch it, so then it gives you a tiny breather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or
for sure.
something. Or do like an anthology with some
Ooh,
people.
that might be interesting.
And that's like a fun project where you don't have to write quite as much.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a novella someday could be cool.
Interesting
I
idea.
don't know. I feel like you might be doing, maybe.
You could be.
Maybe doing.
Not gonna say no.
I don't know. So I love that you mentioned, though, that plot holes, not plot holes so much as just, like, there's things that we could have set up better, or just, like, I kind of wrote myself into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
That happened to me, too, where I was, like, or, like, I had this one character where, like, it'd be really nice if she could do this action, because I really need somebody to do it, and I want it to be her, but I didn't set it up at all in book one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anywhere that I'm going with that. I feel you.
Yeah, I am not good at and do not enjoy world building.
Yeah.
So a lot of, not negative reviews, but a lot of people pointed out, like, there's not a ton of world building. And so for the second one, I tried to, like, vamp that up a bit. And there was something,
Okay.
You can keep this in. It's not
Okay.
really a spoiler.
Okay.
I read a review on Amazon that said, how did the Fae live in the Fae world?
Mm-hmm.
What did they feed on? And I was like, crap,
Oh.
first of all.
Uh-oh.
Good point. But then I was like, you know
I
what?
could always travel.
It's like they went into the human world to eat and then came home. Like, it's fine.
Just,
But
they'll figure it
But
out.
then I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? It would have been like,
Mm-hmm.
because of how their world was so different from the human world,
Mm-hmm.
it was like it sustained them. Their home planet sustained them.
Ooh, that's perfect.
So I've never
See?
said it, but that's how it is.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that because there's more background.
Mm-hmm.
You actually can't give all the history, even if
Yeah.
you did world build like crazy.
Yeah.
It would
And,
be a really
like,
big info dump if you actually shared.
There was
all
no
the-
reason for people to know that because
Yeah.
they don't go to the Fae world
They don't
in my
need to
books
know.
because it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah.
So
there's
it's
like no point.
It's
to
like a
bring it up.
non-issue
Yeah.
to me, in my opinion.
I
So,
love
but
that.
yeah, I found that kind of interesting
wow.
and kind of panicked a little. But then I thought about it and I was like,
And you're
no,
like, I have a
no,
solution.
It still makes sense. It's
And now it
fine.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny that your world building is hard because for me, I love world building. I don't do well with character development.
Okay.
So my characters will all be super, super flat. And I'm like, I just need you to do the thing. Just do it. I don't care if you have any back reasoning or whatever. So I have to go in and like make them more real and flesh them out. And so there was some people who were like reading into this relationship at the end of Evelyn's number, and they created like a hashtag for the relationship. It's like Saul and Olive, and they call it like Solive. You know the like celebrity
The ship
couple?
names?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, the ship names. That's the word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even mean to do that.
You're
That's
like,
cool.
you're like, they're not a couple
I'm like,
intentionally.
I'm gonna work with that in the next.
So did you work it into the next one? I love that. I love that. So it's almost like
Yeah.
you're giving the readers what they want.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
just accidentally.
Yeah, and that's okay sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So random. So yeah, that's series. I don't know if there's anything else that you've run into with series or sequels, but they're really hard.
They are very
I
hard.
feel like they're way harder than the first book. Right?
One thing that I do enjoy, they're definitely harder than the first book. I thought writing a debut and publishing a debut was hard, but sequels, man. One of the things that I did enjoy, though, was the fact that it was almost like visiting old friends. Because
Yeah.
going into it, you're like, I know these people. You're not having to, like, learn who your main character is anymore. You know who
Yes.
she is.
Yeah.
You know how she responds to situations.
Yes.
You're probably throwing her new situations,
Mhm.
but you still know how she probably
deal
would.
with
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. The upside of a sequel.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You don't have to spend hours and hours and hours with your like creating all your characters and naming them and what else? Naming all the cities.
Yeah.
naming this, like it's all figured out. That is definitely an upside.
For
I like
sure.
that.
Gotta look at the
Yay.
positives.
Ending on the positive
Yeah.
note.
Mhm.
Bethany and Jessi on sequels. The end. I really don't have an outro.
The end.
I just say
Cut.
Yep. I think we'll talk
Just,
to you
like,
again
get up
soon.
and walk out.
You can see good bloopers. Oh my god.
Buy Bethany's books. She's amazing.
Aww. I heard
Aww.
Just be like, peace out. Yeah. That could be my new one.
Buy my book. Seriously.
Buy her book.
I have bills to pay, please.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
Okay.
Buy her book.
Bye.
Okay, bye.